Hello gamers, I am Qiyara and welcome to my video. Um, Today we are just going to make a Wuthering Waves, first impressions, pros and cons. I don't know what the fuck I'm calling it, but that's what it's going to be. Um, in the background, I'll just have some basic Wuthering Waves stuff while I talk about this. And yeah, this is obviously just my opinion, so if you think something different, then let me know in the comments what you think instead. First, we're going to go over just the story, and then we'll go over the gameplay in general. So the story pros, there's really only a few, and that's really just in Act 5 and 6. I didn't Act 1 was it's just like the intro, and then Act 2, 3, and 4, it's very yapping. There's lots of yapping, too much yapping. I have some notes written down just so I can make sure I'm staying on track. Act 5, I thought that Verina's introduction was interesting. It was only slightly ruined by Qiyara being super annoying. Being, oh wow, that's so cool, you can make a flower, wow! Like, shut up, bitch. Like, no one cares. Camelia's introduction was cool. She's hot, so I approve. She's like crazy in like a hot way, and you know what? I'm into it. Also, the way that she just kind of like laid there in like the Ting Yun from Honkai Star Rail splash art pose. Like, if you know what I'm talking about, just look up Ting Yun splash art and then go look at what her pose was during that scene. It's the exact same pose, kind of sexual. I thought that Rover was about to start making out and it was about to get hot and steamy. It was wild. But yeah, her character design really cool. I thought originally she was part of the Fraxidus, but then she's like, "Oh no, I'm part of people saving the world," and I was like, "Oh, but you don't want to save the world?" And she's like, "Nah, I don't give a fuck about that." And then I was confused. I was kind of thinking like the Fraxidus was like supposed to be like an abyss. I obviously I'm gonna make comparisons to Genshin, but that's a given. I think that everyone's gonna make comparisons to Genshin. Don't hate on me for making comparisons to Genshin. But I was thinking the Fraxidus was like the abyss, and then at first I thought the Black Shore was gonna be like the Fatui, to where they're like evil, but they have their reasons for being evil. Whereas like the abyss is just trying to turn people. I don't know. The abyss is like kind of evil. Uh, whatever, whatever. I'm not getting into that. But yeah, turns out Black Shore isn't like that. We just have a crazy bitch on our on their side. Um, the introduction of Alto and Encore was actually really good. I really like that. When she's like, "Oh, this guy is being suspicious," and then it goes to alto, and then funk music, like I don't know, funk inspired is what I would call it. Music starts playing, and then she's like, "He's trying to talk to children or to elderly and minors." That I don't know. I thought that was hilarious. I don't think that's supposed to be funny, but it was funny with the funk music playing in the background. And then when we finally see Encore, she gets that like I don't even know. It's like she loves us, but I don't even know what you call that. That was super cute. Encore is definitely like a Klee attempt or like a Klee copycat. 100%. They're like, oh, people like Klee. She's a little cute lolly girl. Yeah, Klee. And then another thing, since I'm on the topic of Genshin comparisons, Farina literally is just Farina, the Hydro Archon, but she's got the design and the like aesthetic of Nahida, the Dendro Archon. That's kind of wild that they just did that. I wasn't originally just gonna make this a straight video, but I'm gonna have to cut this out because my brain does not work properly. I originally thought she was kind of Delulu. Um, Encore is Delulu because of her mushroom talk, but it seems like she's pretty smart. I was originally thinking she was kind of like Klee mixed with like Alice from Nikke. If you've played Nikke, it's like kind of a idiot, but like an innocent idiot and like delusional, basically. The moment with all them, with Alto, with the Anya, with Yang Yang, Chishing, Farina, and Encore, that was a wholesome, funny moment. I like that. And then the part after that, it's okay. like going to the facility, and then turns out blah 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 blah. I didn't really care about that. It was kind of a cool setup. And then we got to Act 6. Act 6 I think was cool. The concept of like the titties, which I'm gonna say titties is fucking stupid. I just want to start calling them titties. We're fighting titty guys. We're fighting titties. Like titties is actually such a stupid name, but I'm not. That's not gonna be a negative. I'm just saying that that's a stupid name. But the swarms forming because of the retroactive rain, that's cool. And then just like endless swarms, I think that's really cool in concept. Um, but they weren't really endless, and there was a lot of talking during that point, which I'll get into when I'm talking about the negatives. Um, the actual boss fight was really cool. I did like the boss fight. Um, the unlocking the new ability of the rover mid fight was really cool. It made me think of like Honkai Star Rail, where Stell and Kalis, they unlocked the ability of the preservation from like mid fight with Kikolia, by getting the Aeon of Preservation clip off to glance at them, and then they got the what is it, the Lance of Creation, I think is what it's called. And then also the same thing happened during the very beginning, where they block the attack from the Doomsday Beast to prevent March from getting hit, and then Nanook looks at him. This isn't gonna make sense if you haven't played Honkai Star Rail, so if you don't get my comparison, don't worry about it. I just think it's a cool thing, unlocking a new ability mid battle because of something. Oh well, because of something is, ignore that I said that. I'm fucking stupid. But the new power is really sick. I really do like the new Havoc. I'll get into that a little bit later. But Havoc Rover's sick. I think Rover's sick in general. They're like the only character in the story. They're like, and then Encore is just a silly goofy girl, and Verena is just Verena literally is just Nahida. She's a tiny girl who's like mature for her looks and age. Well, I get Nahida's 500 years old, so of course she's mature, but she also has like an innocent whatever. A lot of characters in the story kind of aren't that good. So Rover is one of the characters I really like. Okay, into the cons of the story. There's a lot more bullet points here. I know I just talked for how long? For 5 minutes ish about the cons of, or the pros of the story, and that's only 2 bullet points. That's just Act 5 and Act 6. Cons of the story. First off, why did they make Rover a silent protagonist if Rover's just going to start talking like 30 minutes into the story? Just have her talk the whole time. Don't make her a silent protagonist. Either make her silent or don't make her silent. Don't make her fucking talk every time she feels like it. Like that's so. It's like, I'm gonna make another comparison to Genshin. When Lumine first talks, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's after she after you beat Act 1, where you save Mondstadt, and they're like, "Oh, what can we do for you?" And she goes, "Can you help me put up flyers to find my brother?" Well, it depends on the sibling. Find my sister, find my brother. And that's the first time they talk, and you're like, "Whoa, that's cool." I feel like it was kind of a wow factor for that, but for for this, they just made him a silent protagonist until like 20 minutes in, then they decide, yeah, we're just gonna let him talk. Like, what the fuck? The next con is there's so much yapping. They talk way too fucking much about shit I don't care about. They use so many words that are made up for this in the beginning, and you're like, I don't know what that means. And they're like, yeah, this happened, and this, oh, there's this thing, and this, and because of this, because of Jue, the sentinel of Jinzhou, he sucked off the sentinel of this, blah blah, and then they had a baby, and this baby fought. This is fake story, by the way. But that's what it felt like. It felt like a bunch of shit that I don't understand, and then you just keep telling me more and more, and then you're like, oh, you're by telling you this, we're getting put like the description above it, like Genshin does. But Genshin does it better. Another part, Rover supposedly wakes up as an amnesiac, no, doesn't remember anything, and then Rover just starts remembering shit out of nowhere without like anybody telling Rover about it. It's inconsistent. I know that they like remade the story from, I think it was CBT2, where everyone complained about the story being bad, so they remade it. I don't know if this is better than it used to be, but it's still lacking a lot. In Act 6, I know Act 6 was one of the positives, but I do have things to complain about in Act 6. In Act 6, there's so much fucking talking. There's way too much talking during this time-sensitive disaster. There's way too much. They're like, oh yeah, we have to go do this immediate, or like, oh, now's the time for Rover to go over and meet with the general to go fight the Nodian, whatever it's called, and then we keep talking, and then we go fight, and then we keep talking, and then we fight, and then we go finally, and then it decides that it wants to cut over to Jinyan's perspective for like a single combat sequence, and he goes, "Oh no, is that the thunder manifestation or whatever it's called?" Um, and then it cuts back to Rover, and then we walk up, and there's a bunch of uh injured soldiers, and we're like, "Oh, what happened?" And then the thunder thing's there, and then oh, who deflects it? Oh, it's the general dude. Why did we have to cut back and forth so much? It's just like so unnecessary. And then when we're with the general finally and we're talking about the plan, we say the plan. He then says the plan, what we just said. He goes, "So you're saying this?" And then after all the plan is laid out, he goes, "So to review, this is what we're doing." This is literally fucking Paimon. Why did he say it? He repeated what we said, and then he repeated it again. Brother, shut the fuck up. We don't need this. This is one of the things that everyone in Genshin complained about. Well, not everyone. Most people, I would say most people complain about Paimon being annoying as shit. Um, why? And then when after you already get out of there and you're going to the disruptor to shoot down the shield, whatever, you have to go to an NPC, and after already being told that the disruptor is being overrun by a bunch of TDs, we are sent out to go defend it so the disruptor can shoot. And then we run into an NPC, and the NPC goes, "Help! The disruptor is surrounded by TDs." I'm like, we already know that. Why did you have to repeat that? We literally just got told that like not even 2 minutes ago. So why did you have to repeat that? Okay, let's see. Where else am I on my notes? Okay, lastly, the rock pulling, like with the grappling hook when you're actually in the boss area, that was goofy as hell. It's cool to pull down the rocks from the wall. You're like, okay, that's cool. But then like pulling a rock that's just it's connected to a thing, we break it off from the things, and it's still just floating, and then we get on the thing, and then we pull ourselves to what we just broke it off from. How does that make any fucking sense? That's a world breaking. It makes no sense. It looks so goofy. And then there's just like two floating rocks, and you pull one, and you break it in half, and you pull it, and you grab it, and then you pull when you pull your rock or yourself to that other rock, the rock it's literally the same size. You pull yourself instead of you pulling that rock too. That makes no sense. And then you pull yourself from there to the other side. You know, like how am I pulling the rock? I'm not connected to this rock at all. It doesn't make sense. And then finally, the scene where you're going into the like it's a cutscene when you shoot the disruptor for last time at the chest, and then you can go inside. That scene, I think it was supposed to be like epic, like leeway, like their fight against, I don't remember what the thing's called, the sea monster, that kind of epic battle, but it really looked goofy as hell. It looked so goofy. And that's all for my pros and cons about the story. Next I'm going to go into gameplay. Hopefully I can make this video shorter, but this video is going to be as long as it needs to be. So the first pro, the exploration. I think the combats, or my dumbass fucking just went into a second point. Exploration, the movement's fun. The puzzles are pretty fun and enjoyable. They're not just like dumb, stupid things like Genshin has. Well, it is kind of dumb like Genshin, but I think the puzzles are actually nice. The out of combat sprinting cost being none, that's super cool. I approve. I do hope that there's like mounts or something so you can get around quicker for some point, but I don't. That might be a thing. I don't know. I'm not that far. I'm I think union level 27 or 28. So being able to dash midair to give, and also grapple to give you some verticality, and also just keep your own vertical position when trying to glide or something, that is super nice. I do like that. The grapple isn't just useless unless you have a grapple point. Also, the echo challenges are very unique. Cool to be like you're an echo, and then you could just go do some challenge thing with the Echo. I think I've only seen the pufferfish looking ones and the butterfly looking ones. I don't know if there's other ones. I hope there is, because it is an interesting thing that's just something different to do. Next is the combat. I think the combat's really fun. I like pairing in games. The pairing is very satisfying. Sometimes it does feel a little bit off, but that totally could be me. I don't know. But I swear there's sometimes that you're like, I swear I hit that, but then you're like, okay, well, I just got hit in the air, and because this dude's attacks that like 3 of them are parryable in a row, because you missed the first one, you got hit in the air, and then you're gonna hit by the second and the third, and then you're dead. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad. You can call me bad if you want. I don't care. But it is nice when it works. The dodging and the slow down time when you do dodge, that is super satisfying. It definitely gives like a badass factor. Like, I'm a badass. I just dodged this shit like 6 times, and it slows down time every time. You feel like a badass. I do think it's cool that you can parry things with plunging attacks. It's not just like, oh, you have to be on the ground and you have to just be ready for this attack. You can do it with plunging attacks, and even if you're like a mid basic attack combo, if your basic attack combo does line up with that parry window, it will parry as well. I also think it's cool that there are some skills as well beside that, where like Tai Chi and Jingjin, I don't know if that's how you say her name, their skills also have a parry part of it. I don't know if there's other characters that do. Those are 2 characters I have, and so I know that both of them have a parry ability. The next is echoes. I think echoes are cool. It's cool to get your artifacts / relics / whatever you want to call them, just out in the open world. I am still like in the early parts. I'm not to the point where I can get golds yet. I'm like, I don't even know, 12, probably data bank 12. So it is cool to just get a bunch of stuff everywhere, just going out and fighting things. It does give a reason to go fight things. I don't really know what the point of a shiny / phantom. I think they're called phantom units. That have like the shiny part. The people are calling them shiny Pokemon. I don't really know what the point of them besides being a guaranteed Echo drop, and I think they do count as a separate entry in the data bank. But if you're gonna call it a shiny because it's a different color. Don't call it a shiny because, oh, it's rare, quote, which they're really not that rare, and they give you a entry in the data bank. I don't know. That's just me being a shiny snob. I used to shiny hunt a lot, and I still do sometimes, but not that often nowadays. Just real quick, before you all clown me in the comments, I found out that they actually are different colored. My bad. I didn't know. I haven't seen them be different colored. My bad. But yeah, looking at phantoms, I don't see any difference in them. Maybe there is a difference, and I just don't see it. But next is the depths of the elusive realm. I believe this is like the simulated universe / Elysian realm. It's very Elysian realm inspired. It's way more Elysian realm than simulated universe. If you played Honkai Impact 3rd, it's very reminiscent of that. There's character abilities that you can upgrade your characters, like own damage and stuff and skills, and then there's other things that'll upgrade other stuff. It is unique in a way that it's not exactly like that, but it's more like Elysian realm. It is cool that they have a trial character. I don't know if they're always going to have a trial character, but they had the trial Gion, the current banner, the current, bro, I want to fucking kill myself. The current banner character, and I don't know if they're always going to have that. I think they should, but I can understand maybe it just because it's the start that they have that there. It is also nice from the rewards that you can get from that is 5-star. It's a couple 5-star echoes you can claim from it, and from what I've seen, there is a chart that tells you if you choose this echo, it's going to be this damage bonus, and it's guaranteed. So I would definitely look that up if you haven't heard about that already. Look up like elusive realm echo drop. I don't even know what you call it, but just look it up. I've seen it a couple times on Twitter already. It's everywhere. The next is devs. So far, the devs have been super generous. The 40 standard pulls, 20 limited pulls, a free 5-star selector, on top of the beginner banner, which is 50 pulls that only cost 40 pulls. And if you get the 5-star early, then it goes instantly into the like 5-star selector that you can guarantee whichever 5-star you want. And because of that, you can easily get 3 different 5-star standard banner characters within just the first little while of playing. I say little while, but I like play a lot. So if you're casually playing, it might take you longer than other people. But in terms of game time, it'll take everyone probably about the same amount. Um, because of how generous the devs have been, I can definitely see reroll counts happening more and more. Uh, I don't know how long that beginner banner or any of that stuff is going to stay in the mail. I don't know if it's just for the first year, or if it's just for the first like month of the game being out. I don't know, but that is really nice for reroll accounts. I'm personally not going to make an alt reroll account probably at all. Definitely not yet. I did literally before making this video, I rerolled 3 times, but it wasn't for myself. It's because my friend is scared of getting Jingyan, the stupid lion boy that used to be more furry than he is now. Um, she does not want him, and so just to make sure that she has an alt account to play on, if she gets him as her guarantee or as her beginner banner 5-star, then I made an alt account, and I didn't just make one. I made 3 because the first one I got unlucky and I got hard pity and I got Ling Yang and it was dog shit. And then the second one I got Ling Yang on the third uh uh temple. So it was early still, but it's still Ling Yang, and we're not doing that. So I had to make a third account, and that one I named it Give Me Titty, and then on the first temple I got Verena, which isn't Titty, but it's still not Ling Yang. So that's okay, and she can now use that account if she needs to. But yeah, definitely super nice for rerolling. It is a little bit of a slog to reroll, but I mean most games are a little bit of a slog. That well, at least in most games that I've played, it's a little bit of a slog to reroll. Lastly, with gameplay pros, Rover being the MC, I really like Rover. Rover is really fun to play. I like both Spectre and Havoc Rover. Havoc being introduced and the abilities that it does, I think feel like such a badass playing as Rover. Also, I didn't put this in my notes, but the sound of like hitting or swinging your sword as Havoc versus swinging it versus as Spectre, it feels like you're swinging it faster or something. I don't know what that is, but the sound design is awesome. I think it sounds really cool. And this is especially nice because I'm just juicing up Rover since I like Rover, and Rover's going to be my carry unit while and we're just going to juice him as hard as I can, or juice her, sorry, as hard as I can. And then as soon as she's maxed out, I can use other people. I can start upgrading other people, but I'll have somebody to use to do all the content that I need to. And then finally, the gameplay cons. First con is part of combat. Um, there is an issue sometimes. It's just really annoying. It's not like game breaking or anything, but it's really annoying during some combat. After you finish combat with them, even though you weren't locked onto them with the camera, or even sometimes when you are locked in with the camera, your camera is stuck to where they died, and so you're trying to run away for like saying you're just killing things for exploration. Um, you're trying to walk away, and your camera is pulling towards that fucking thing. Like that's annoying. Get that out. As soon as the thing's dead, camera should not be locked anymore. That is one of my biggest pet peeves in a game, is you forcing my camera when I don't need it. You don't need to force my camera all the time. Like sometimes I can see, oh, look at this thing, and you can take my camera for a second, glance towards that, and then give me my camera back. Do not get my camera away if I am playing a open world third person game. Do not take my fucking camera from me. Also, there is some uh like visual clarity that needs to be improved. Sometimes during battle, there's like too many effects going on. You really can't see what's going on. But I believe that they already said that they're working on fixing that. So that's only partial negative because I believe they are fixing that. My next negative is about echoes. Echoes, I don't know. I feel like it's so grindy. Like I know, relic farming and artifact farming in Genshin, Honkai Star Rail. Those are the games I play, so those are the ones I'm gonna compare it to. It feels like way grindier. I don't know if it's gonna be like super easy to get the sets that you want. I mean, obviously it should take some time to get what you want, but it just feels like it's gonna be so grindy. Obviously, I'm in the early game, so maybe it gets better the further you get, but like it is nice that you don't have to use I think it's wave plate power, but it's just kind of annoying a little bit. And also the sets being like part of the monster itself and not like, I don't know. So if you get the same monster, then that doesn't count towards the set bonus. So you have to get different monsters that have the same set, and that's just confusing. Maybe it'll. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be charts being made, or there's maybe already charts made about echoes and what monsters have what stats, and then what you can do for it. But I don't know. Currently, it just seems kind of complicated, and it really doesn't need to be as complicated as they made it. I don't know. That's what I think. Maybe I don't know. If you think otherwise, then you can have that opinion. The next is leveling characters. This is not unique to Wuthering Waves. I think the leveling of characters is very annoying. I mean, like I said earlier with the echoes, sure, I'm sure it'll get better the farther we get in the game. But currently, having to fight one boss for echo, I'll probably put that somewhere in here, that fight, because I did that literally earlier. Having to fight Inferno Rider 3 times in order to get the upgrade materials to ascend Encore once, that's dog shit, because that costs 180 wave plate power, I think is what it's called. That is like a day's worth of wave plate power that you have to use just to ascend the character. That's not including, now that she's above the level 40 cap, she can go to 50. She now has skills that she can upgrade. What if I don't have stuff to upgrade that? That's like, I don't know. I think that's dog shit. But maybe it'll get better. Hopefully, when I'm maxed out, then you're like, okay, well, this isn't bad, because I can just go fight this boss 6 times, and then this character is up to level 70, and then we're fine. But currently, it feels bad. It feels like artificially increasing how long it takes you to level a character, or to max out a character. Like, another thing that I think is ridiculous is the weekly boss drops. Why does it take 26 of the weekly boss drop stuff? I think the only 2 that I know for sure is the Scar fight and then the Bell fight. Those are 2 weekly, and I think probably the new fight that you did at the end of Act 6 is probably a new fight. I haven't done it yet. Well, obviously I've done it, but I haven't done it as trying to get the rewards. I think those are the only weekly. Maybe there's another weekly battle that I don't know about, but it just feels so bad. You do a fight and then you get like 1 or 2. 100% could be improved in the future. Maybe at max level you're getting like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever per run, and then it's not that much of an issue, but it's still limiting how much you can do per week. You can only get this much from the weekly bosses for this week, and then you're shit out of luck. Like I said earlier, it's just extending how long it takes for a character to be maxed out, and that's just trying to extend your playtime in turn, and that's just really annoying. Anyway, that's all for this video. That's all I wrote down. Wrote. I don't give a shit. I'm stupid. It's a long file, and this recording is 33 minutes long. Hopefully, I can cut it down to lower than that, but you will see in the end product. There is probably something that I missed. These are just the things that I thought about, and then I added a couple while I was playing, recording the gameplay that I'll put in the background of this. But currently, that's what I think. Obviously, they can improve a lot of stuff. I'm not going to stop playing the game because of the cons, but I am really enjoying it. The story, hopefully in the future it gets better. They can try to improve the 1 point, or the chapter 1 story if they want to, but I think it'd be better just to focus their efforts on improving future story, like chapter 2 and so on. I don't know what their plan is. I haven't really watched any of their stuff saying what their plan is for updates and how much they're gonna release content and stuff like that. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you did like the video, then leave a like. If you want to watch maybe more videos that I'll be making, I don't know if I'll make more WOBA or Wuthering Waves content. I probably will. Probably not very often though, and it'll be about the same probably as Honkai Star Rail. I'll make videos when I think of something to make. But until next time, you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye.